You know, I mean, I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, when that stuff was happening. I was also like heavily under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So when people ask me questions about that time in my life, man, it's like people would expect it to be like my proudest moment. You know what I'm saying? Because it was successful and we traveled for quite a while doing it, but it's not. You know what I mean? It wasn't my proudest moment. And simply because I was out of control. You know what I mean? I had no one to keep wraps on me. You know, we certainly weren't doing it for each other on the road, or in our personal lives. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it to me, honestly, it's like a time that existed in my life. Yeah. Almost like a dream.
Yeah. Feels like a lifetime ago.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I've probably lived 3 lives since then. Right.
Yeah.
But you know, it means something to people, I guess. And I guess, you know, that's why it's still important to me, because people connected with it and they liked it. I may not be super proud of, like, you know, who I was or maybe the lyrical content at that time. I was, you know, that first record came out at the tail end of a like terrible breakup for me. Right. So I had a lot of issues with relationships, and I had a lot of issues with, you know, the opposite sex at the time for some reason. When probably a lot of that was like me being toxic, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Sure. So yeah, it's, you know, it was cool, I guess. Like I said, I was a blur. It was all a blur. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for putting that into perspective for me.
Yeah.
And
I mean, a lot of people didn't, you know, they don't really know how deep stuff like that goes with people who produce music that they connected with, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool for me to have a platform now to talk about some of that stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of heartache. It was a lot of like, abusing my mental state, abusing my body. Yeah. Yeah, being wildly out of control when it comes to, you know, my substance abuse. Yeah. Yeah. So
I think it's a world where it's easy for that to get out of control.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, they pump it down your throat, you know. Promoters want to fill you full alcohol so they can fuck you at the end of the night. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there were shows where I was like falling off the stage. I was so fucked up, you know what I mean? So, but you know, and then there's the other side of it, the music industry side of it, which is also very terrible, and it wasn't the most fun I've ever had, dealing with suits and lawyers and people who want to take advantage of you and squeeze you. They want you to suffer so you can keep creating while they're like flourishing and paying their rent and their mortgage, their car note, you know. Yeah. We would sometimes come home and I really would be kind of worried about where I was going to be because I had no money. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's easy for people to like glamorize that lifestyle, but when you're in that lifestyle, it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, it was really hard for me. But, you know, I'm glad to be here for sure. I'm glad. And that's really what ended that band, was me becoming sober. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be on the road. And the second record that we wrote, which was my favorite record, Weekend Warriors, that first record was hard for me, man, because it tackled a lot of just bad parts of my life. You know what I mean? So when you sing those songs every night, you're like, oh my God, I just want to get over this shit. And I can't, because I've like put it here on the table. You know, it's like we were talking earlier, that in some situations that can be great. In some situations, you know, putting your mental problems on the table and dealing with them is fine. But, you know, when you're doing it for me anyway, when I listen to that first record, I hate it. I really hate that. I sound like a prick. Yeah. I think so anyway.
That's interesting.
So, you know, on the second record, that we kind of strayed away from that, because I wasn't in that situation anymore. I had grown up a little bit. I was able to we just wanted to focus on making good music. Yep. You know what I mean?
It's really that first record that resonates with me, though.
It does for a lot of people.
Of the two. And when I saw you first in 2005, you guys had 3 guitar players in the band, right? And I liked it so much that we went back and we added a third guitar player to our band. We're like, man, that's badass. Like, we got to do it.
I think we had one because we didn't really know how to not have our friend in the band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it just kind of was, we were a unit. So that's what it became.
Yep.
Instead of like only having 2 guitar players, when, you know, that band formed from the downfall of 2 other bands.
Okay.
So we chose the members that we wanted to be in that new band, Secret Lives. And then, kind of ran with it. So it was like one of those things where like, we love him, so he has to be in the band. You know what I mean? So that's how we made it all work out. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting time in my life. I'm appreciative of it because it allowed me to be who I am. You know what I mean? But, you know, at the same time, it's, you know, a lot of that time in my life was kind of painful, you know?
Sure. I could totally understand that. Well, thanks for sharing it with me here today, man. It's good to be able to kind of put the pieces together on what that was like for you. Because I think a lot of people, myself included, look back on that with a lot of envy for what you were able to do in a short period of time.
Sure.
So I think it's being able to separate who maybe you were as a person at the time and what you were able to accomplish, which I think are 2 different things.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And we had a lot of success. We to play in the Warped Tour was a lot of fun.
Yep.
You know, like, meeting a lot of your like peers that you never thought you would, and like becoming friends with those people, you know what I mean, is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there, and I do still have a lot of relationships from that time in my life that I really am super proud of and happy for. I still am connected with a lot of people that we, you know, interacted with on the road.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a good thing, is that I have all of these nice relationships still. I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 40 this year. When, you know, we wrote that first record, I was like 22, 23 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I was still learning a lot about myself and life, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff.